marked road.
I know that, Lola.
I hate crap rattling as we go down the road. Oh my gosh. I can't drive down the road and listen to that. Every bump I hit. Everything I hit. Oh my gosh. I can't do that. Cooper says it's too loud, Dad. It's too loud. I just got a new KLR Kawasaki to act as our vehicle when we go camping. We can take it, you know, on the back roads and do errands in town and that kind of thing. So I want to carry it on the back of the RV, and I got a VersaHaul, but like almost probably every engineer out there, I got to redesign this. I'm sure it works great if you have a 200, maybe 300 pound dirt bike, but the weight capacity of this is 500 pounds. The KLR weighs about 430, 450 pounds. So we're right there at the limit, and I think we're approaching like my comfort level of its ability. You know, I'm sure they designed a 2% safety factor on it, but I want like a 10% safety factor on it. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. This will be a real quick video of, hey, let's re-engineer something so it's 10 times better. And I know why they designed it the way it is, because it had to be shipped and it had to come apart and all that kind of stuff. Well, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to make it solid. But all right, so here is the Kawasaki. We just loaded it up on here, and it's all tightened down just the way it should be. But you've got some rock, and I got it. It's not falling off, and it probably won't fall off. But me going down the highway, I won't be able to concentrate knowing that it's shaking like this back there. And it shakes this direction too. It shakes this way and it shakes this way. In my experience, I want more than one point of failure. There's one point of failure, and of course that is the class 3 hitch. We can hold tons. I mean, we can hold what, 10,000 pounds, but it's in one point. And if something happens, that's brand new motorcycle falling off going down the road. And the same thing with all the other mounts. Everything has got one point of failure, one bolt holding it in place, 3 bolts holding that in place. So we're going to fix that. So come with me as we redesign, re-engineer the VersaHaul. All right, let me show you what we're going to do to the VersaHaul. A lot of this stuff is just real simple. I'm gonna weld up the joint so it's not loose anymore. I know they made these arms so they're removable and has a pin in here, but that's like a single point of failure. I'm gonna weld up these joints so that's strong. The shoe right here, again, single point of failure. It has one bolt holding it on. I know it's latched in here, but again, we've got slop here. You gotta understand, and I got it, you know, they're making this as a bolt-on application. There's a bracket right here with 3 bolts underneath here, and that bracket is how you kind of level it and keep it from rocking left and right. So in other words, the procedure is you tighten up the first one, and then you tighten up the other ones, and then you kind of do a cycle to tighten it up and tighten it up and tighten it up. But honestly, there's a huge moment on these, and let me get really nerdy with you guys just for a second. Let's talk about a little bit of statics. So let's say it's load rated at 500 pounds. That means, you know, 500 pounds distributed evenly across this whole thing. That's the max. That means, you know, 250 pounds here, 250 pounds here. But that's static. Dynamic, let's say it's the zombie apocalypse, and you're the good old boys like in the Blues Brothers driving crazy, or maybe it's like RV with, you know, Robin Williams, you know, bouncing, getting the motion, and now it's 500 pounds becomes 1,000 pounds, becomes 1,500 pounds, and this rocking, and 500 pounds is now all the way over here, all the way over there. So let's just use a fun number. Let's say 500 pounds right here. The distance from there to the center is about 36 inches. So of course this can hold 500 pounds right here, but if you take 500 pounds and you start moving it away from this moment, from this point, it multiplies. So that's 36 times 500. And that's like what's that, 18,000 pounds or something like that. Don't judge me, I'm doing the math in my head. That's a lot of force right there. And I gotta give it to VersaHaul. They do have grade 8 fasteners in here. Well, the strength of a grade 8 fastener is in the shear of the bolt. The weak point in all bolts is the threads. And you just go online, Google thread shear calculator and find out how much the threads can hold. That's a 3/8 inch plate, grade 8 bolt. That'll rip out at somewhere around 5,000 to 8,000 pounds. And we already said it's like 18,000 pounds. So I can imagine if something bad happens, a whole bunch of shaking and rocking and rolling, those bolts are gonna strip out. That's what's gonna happen. So what are we gonna do? Well, I'm gonna lay on my back and let me show you, because this is a single mounting point. Wouldn't it be great to have 2 more? Like a 3-point hitch on a tractor, right? 3 points, a 3-legged stool, you kind of get me, but let me share with you my concept. And I'm gonna crawl under here. All right, so what we have under here is our nice class 3 hitch. And rule of thumb, guys, of course, don't weld, don't drill, don't modify these because it actually reduces the load capacity of these. So we're not gonna do that. We're going to have something that bolts onto this. My concept is I'm gonna slide a piece of steel tubing into this, and that tube is going to bolt by probably 2 big 1/2-13 grade 8 bolts. And then we're gonna have a torsion rod. It's gonna come down here and we're going to mount it through here. It's gonna be bolted all the way through, another grade 8 bolt. And we're gonna have one of those on each side. And let me show you a picture of what I think that's gonna look like. Oh, that's my head. All right, let's get nerdy for another second. And we'll draw this out real quick here. So, if this is our receiver on the RV, we're going to have a tube that's going to go inside of this, right? So that's what this is going to look like. It's going to slide right into there. It's going to go right in there, whoop, like that. Now, what we're going to do is and imagine this is your tube. We're gonna have a plate that goes on the outside, another plate that goes here, and then the bar, I'm actually gonna weld about right there. I'm gonna weld it here, I'm gonna weld it here. Of course, this is all gonna be a welded assembly. And I'm gonna put that there because it lines up perfectly with the seam on the Versa tube back here. And this bar, let's say this is our bar, it's going to be drilled and tapped for a 1/2-13, so we're going to put a big bolt right into the tip of that. So what's going on here? Well, this is where we're going to have our bolts. And you're thinking, okay, well, we're just gonna pinch it. Yeah, but this is it, this is cool. Why did I call it a torsion bar? Let's look at this again. If this is the hitch that we already have now, it's a nice, big, thick piece of steel hitch. Remember the plate that we're gonna have? Yeah, the plate's gonna be out here. It's about like that. Then we have another plate on the bottom, right? So, and we're gonna have a torsion bar. There's our bar going up there. And I'll color that in so you can see it a little bit better. It's gonna be all welded in here, right? So this is going all the way to the front. Well, as this gets loaded this way, we wanna counteract it. We wanna actually make this thing go this direction, right? We want to actually kind of make this push up on this. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to take these bolts and they're going to be pushing on the underside of this tube. So this whole thing is going to have a moment. It's going to push this thing up just like that. So it's going to be pushing on the back of this bar and it's going to counteract. So it's going to have a moment and push up right there. And that's going to give us our support. Now we're going to have a support here and then we'll have a support down there. And so there we go. And you know, other things, I'll weld this up because this has 4 bolts on the bottom and I'm sure they're gonna hold, but if something's gonna get loose, I'm gonna eliminate it. No loose fasteners on this. So I'm gonna go in the shop and get cutting, get tapping, get drilling, get welding, and I'll bring you guys back to see the finished product. So see you in a little bit. Oh! Ow. That's so far there. The weight distribution bars are complete just in time. We're leaving tomorrow morning to go on an RV trip. So these will have to get painted when we get back. But we're gonna do the fitment. You guys can come with us. We'll do the fitment. I'll show you how these work. Just like a weight distribution hitch on a trailer. That was my goal for these. And let me show you how we stick them on here. So what I've done already is I've taken the VersaHaul and I've basically welded all the joints. Just basically doing away with all the fasteners. So all the bolts and nuts holding this thing together have been now replaced with welds. So that just keeps it from rattling. Now it's solid, but. All right, so I'm gonna have a left and a right of these. And I'm gonna have to crawl underneath here and show you guys how this works. So this 2-inch tube slides right into the receiver up here. So this load distribution bar mounts right into the hitch using this piece of 2-inch tubing. Just like that. And we bolt it to the bike rack down here and then tighten up the cycle head cap screws back here. So let's do that. Let's put the pin in and then we can tighten up all the rest of the fasteners and get this thing, it's already nice and rigid and I haven't even tightened up the mounts yet. So that'll be exciting. So what I'm doing now is I'm tightening up these leveling screws. So it basically clamps onto this big piece of steel tubing underneath here. So as each one of those top cut head cap screws clamp hold of it, it'll tighten up the bars and stop the rocking back and forth. So let me get these finger tight and then I'll have my assistant put a level on this and we will adjust these until that's level. So this has got to come up right. So instead of one mounting point, we now have 2 more, and those are bending arms, stabilizing. It's nice and level, and it still flexes a little bit, but not as much as it did before. Of course, I think I'm moving the RV too. I'm happy with that. Much, much more rigid. And let's, guess what I don't hear? I don't hear any rattling. That's a good thing. So, all right, success. Hope you guys enjoyed this fun video. It was a real quick, down and dirty, fast one. We're leaving on vacation tomorrow, and I wanted to get this done beforehand, but oh my gosh, I'm so happy with the results. It is tight, it doesn't rattle. It is, I could probably, move the RV with this thing. So it's a success. If you are interested in more information about this, put some comments down below. I'll put the plans of what I did. You can duplicate it for yourself on my website. So until next time, God bless. We'll see you in the next video.